trying to understand him. Like on Mike Tyson's
He was like,
hot box, he had Eminem on, okay, and he talks like that. Like Eminem he had to take a minute to understand what he just said.
right.
You have a thin cat.
You have a thing.
You have a thin cat.
You have a thing. Like it's hard to take a motherfucker serious. Like if you're like, and all of a sudden in your head you're like, oh, he's really. Gives the. I bit his ear. I bit his ear.
Fuck Holyfield.
And he's fucking like, dude's huge as fuck.
Mike Tyson's a legend, dude. And for those of you who didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, we are CNL.
This is CNL.
This is CNL. We just popped in with one. We said, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
We're just going to go.
Studio.
We were talking Phil Collins. There's a lot of behind the scenes conversation.
A little bit of Elton John.
A little bit of Elton John.
A little bit of Tiger COVID.
Not much Elton John. Tiger COVID.
Only a little. Joe Exotic and COVID's pretty much a coinciding event.
We had 2 episodes about Joe Exotic. I think we got to let it breathe.
We do.
I
do
think
want
Joe
to
Exotic
bring up
needs
the
to
point,
rest.
though, that I'm pretty sure it probably won't happen, but the president's looking into pardoning him.
Yeah, if you haven't checked that out on YouTube, there is a clip of a reporter asking.
And it's worth a read. Apparently, Don Jr.
Recommended it. He was joking.
Donald Trump Jr. recommended.
He was
but
half
he
joking.
still did it. But
The problem is Joe Exotic is the fall guy.
yeah, it's true.
He's the fall guy, and there's a couple other people involved, and they don't want to do time.
You gotta have a scapegoat. Did you hear my hiccup? Did my hiccup make it through?
Did you hiccup? You hiccuped on the...
Hey, lad, let's get some rum.
We're having a good time tonight.
And that's what we did.
We're having a good time tonight. We're talking Phil Collins. We're talking all kinds of crazy shit.
Sipping on little Bacardi.
I showed you, okay.
Talking about fucking Coco guy. Like, what's his name?
Were you Coco Diaz?
Yeah.
Joey Diaz?
Joey Coco Diaz. Joey Coco Diaz.
Let me tell you something. That's the perfect segue because I am in love with certain stand-up comedians because they're really funny, right? Coco Diaz is one of them. Joey Diaz is fucking hilarious, right? I found
Fucking love Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz is funny. Okay.
Like he kind of like almost. I just love him. He has that
Joe
air-
Rogan.
He has Joe. He has that air about him, kind of like a serious Rodney Dangerfield.
Let me tell you some cocksucker. he makes me laugh.
Took a shit in the shower.
Stomped it down with my foot, Joe Rogan.
Right down the drain.
That little dookie went right down into the sewer.
Can you imagine like, just stomping that? It's going between you, like twixt your toes. And
Well, that's what. Okay,
Ew,
okay,
ew.
okay. So the reason we're talking about Joey Diaz shitting down his drain in the shower
talking about
is
Red Bar.
because Red Bar.
Red Bar.
Okay, there
Look
is a
him up.
radio host who is wonderful. Okay, it's like a fresh breath of air. If you think comedians are edgy, if you think that there's anybody edgy out there, they're full of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I showed the little bit that you saw was perfect example,
Right.
of like this guy. What's his name? His name's David something.
David something.
I thought it
like,
was Mike Redbar, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
David something.
You were talking about him, and then you were telling me about the other guy that he had gone on there and just only had wrote one thing. He wrote the 444 because the guy's like, call me.
Oh.
It's 444.
If Nick DiPaolo.
Nick DiPaolo.
Is it Nick DiPaolo?
He did. I actually
Fuck.
saw some of his stand up. Yeah, it was Nick DiPaolo.
Nick DiPaolo.
And it was funny, but he does a lot of yelling. He does a lot of yelling, but I think that's just
He's a Bill Burr type
Yeah.
comedian. Bill Burr's really aggressive and mean.
yeah.
He doesn't even yell. He's
Pinocchio.
just a dick. There's a video out. Okay, there's a
Why the fuck I said
podcast. Pinocchio.
Pinocchio. Anyway,
Have you ever thought about how fucked up Pinocchio is?
dude? It really kind of is, dude. Think about
The
it.
story of Pinocchio.
If I was Geppetto, I'd be asking some fucking questions.
Well, there's some weird shit
Like,
there.
how the fuck is this going on? And then, yeah, even beyond, like,
Do you remember the Jonathan Taylor Thomas? Is that his name?
yeah, JTT.
Yes.
JTT.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas used to be a 90s. He was huge in the 90s, this actor.
He was a teen pop star.
He was in Home Improvement.
Tiger Beat.
If you ever get a chance, look up the true Hollywood story
Of American's heartthrob, JTT.
Well, it's about Home Improvement.
Home Improvement.
But it touches upon how he was a
I
heartthrob.
swear to God, you start talking about some more child molestation again. I'm going to drink the rest of my rum, and I'm gone.
Corey Feldman's out the conversation. Corey Feldman's missing. He's no longer with us.
Well, anyway, what had happened to JTT? What was
JTT, okay. I remember this kid because he was in a lot of stuff. He was in that Christmas movie, I'll Be Home for Christmas.
I remember that movie. It didn't do too well in the box office.
No, he failed out. Once these little heartthrob teens get older,
Yeah.
it's happening to Justin Bieber right in front of us.
Haley
You know what
Joel
I mean?
Osment got fat.
Haley Joel Osment, though,
Love the dude.
I give respect.
I love the dude too. Still a wonderful, awesome actor.
Because the movie Tusk.
I love that
When
movie.
he did Tusk, I was like, okay.
He's still a good actor.
You're trying,
He's still a good actor. He's still, I mean.
you understand the joke of it.
Right.
You're not going to become the butt of the joke because you're ahead of the game. You get that you
Right.
had a mediocre career. You started out hot, then you kind of fall off. You did Sixth Sense, you did Pay It Forward, which was a great movie. You did
I
a
cried.
few.
I cried at the end to Pay It Forward, man.
Pay It Forward was insane to me.
Getting
when I first
stabbed
seen
in the
it.
bathroom.
It was watching a kid get stabbed.
Yeah.
That's what killed it for me. That movie was fucked up. Anyway, JTT, if you ever get a chance, watch True Hollywood Story, Home Improvement. A lot of drama on Hollywood Improvement. I don't know why.
Home Improvement, Hollywood Improvement. Hollywood Improvement.
Did you know Tim Allen was busted in, I think, the 70s for trafficking cocaine?
I was going to say, I had a guess it was like some sort of cocaine or whatnot.
Yeah, Buzz Lightyear himself.
Yeah, well,
To infinity and beyond.
The cocaine doesn't ship itself over, Somebody's got to buy them boats.
And the mugshot's funny because it's him and his mustache. He's got one of those porn star 70s mustaches.
Like, I do coke and
Basically,
beat my wife. Not really.
Well, that's the thing about Tim Allen was he came off as a very white trash comic, and he was like a very chauvinist. Yeah, like he was talking about primal noises and like men. He was the man's comic. Like, we like tools and sex and cigars and beer. He was a very like what SJWs would call today a chauvinist.
Right.
And but he got away with it. He was funny, and it got him roles. Obviously, Am I the only one who remembers the movie where he ends up having the son who is he's in a tribe?
Oh,
Do you remember
Jungle
that?
to Jungle.
Jungle to fucking Jungle.
Yes, I
Is
remember
that not
movie.
an underrated fucking movie or what?
Dude, it was hilarious. I really liked it. He was like, I have to go get a statue that holds fire up this guy's butt. Like.
That was such an underrated fucking Tim Allen movie. They always talk, Tim Allen, but they don't talk about that movie.
It was actually a remake.
Really?
But I'm not sure. Yeah, it's an old story.
A lot of Disney's remakes. If you pay attention to Disney, a lot of Disney's remakes.
Most of those classic Disney movies are pretty much remakes of
we watched Flubber the other night,
popular
and I thought
literature. Literature.
Some books.
Just take a fucking story of Lion King. It's Macbeth. It's the same as Macbeth. It's the same story.
It's almost like
the prince that he is accused of killing his father. Didn't really kill his father. It was really his uncle. Just like fucking Macbeth, the kid goes away for a while, goes off to exile, comes back, saves the kingdom.
It's like when they take a story of
fucking
Hamlet.
Macbeth, yeah, or Hamlet. Yes, Hamlet.
Hamlet
That's
was
what
Sons of
Sorry.
Anarchy.
Oh my gosh, I totally got that fucking messed up. No, yeah.
Well, no.
Yeah,
You're
it was
right.
Hamlet.
You're right. It was Macbeth.
Oh yeah, Macbeth.
Because Hamlet was more like the Sons of Anarchy story.
Right.
Sons of Anarchy was Hamlet, and I called it out as I was watching season like 3 or 4. I was like, this comes off very Hamlet-y. Like it's like he took that story and he made it in. Something smells like pork.
Something just smells like Yep. Somebody left some baked goods. I remember you saying that fucking years ago, dude. We were out skating, and then we decided to leave wherever. We turned around, and you're like, "Yep, somebody left some baked goods."
That was a Family Guy. That's a Family Guy bit.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember what the premise is. You could probably even YouTube it. Family Guy baked goods. But something happens. It was just a funny. I can't.
Right.
I know what you're talking about. I remember that, but vaguely. It was very. That's a good line to throw out anytime.
I just got an idea. I just had an apostrophe.
An epiphany.
An epiphany. I was doing the Captain Hook and Smee thing. You remember that movie?
I just had a comma.
Shmee, I mean Mr. Shmee, Captain Hook's.
Who played Captain
first
Hook?
Man? Dustin Hoffman.
It was Dustin Hoffman.
It was Dustin Hoffman.
That's
just
a
watched a
really
movie
good
about Dustin Hoffman. Although we're getting off topic. Just the other night, Tootsie. You ever seen that movie? Dustin Hoffman.
I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
It's a movie
I know
that
of
he's
it.
a struggling actor. He can't get a fucking part to save his life. Dressed up as a woman, get a woman's role. Does a great job. Like blows it out of the water.
Like bosom
Part
buddies?
of this like soap opera now that's making a lot of money and shit. But he's a man. He's a straight dude, and falls in love with one of the co actors there within that soap opera that he got the part for as a woman. No one knows he's not a woman, type of deal. And
like bosom buddies?
kind of, but not. But
Less George.
great movie, but
What's his name?
Anyway.
Less George Clooney.
I had a comma, I had an apostrophe, I had an idea.
I'm still on Shmee. As soon as you
for
brought up
the
Shmee,
for
I
the
was
Shmee.
I instantly remembered Rufio.
Rufio.
How cool was that fucking movie when you were
Oh,
a kid?
dude. Like
That made you want to. That made me like Peter Pan, the story of Peter Pan, so much more.
me too. It turned me on to it. I was like, oh, I love this. Like this whole premise and
It gave you a
Never
better
Land.
idea of what Never Never Land is. It expanded on it.
I love
How
it.
fucking
I love it.
stoned are we
Got
that
to
we're
save
evaluating
Maggie.
Hook?
Got to save Jack. Hook is back.
Let me tell you something. Dustin Hoffman killed it in that fucking
Dude, the best fucking Captain Hook.
That dude deserves
Ever.
an Oscar for that alone.
Yeah,
That
he
was
does.
epic.
He does. And I was
He
just
was scary too, dude.
Dude, I
he was
know.
a scary Captain Hook.
oh, he'll learn to fight. He'll fight. He'll fly. Then smee. And then he'll die.
And then he'll die.
And then he'll die.
I remember a bunch of clocks and an alligator in that movie. That's about it.
Yeah, that's the when before Peter Pan left Never Land and went off to be a big chairman, executive, whatever.
He was a CEO of some shit.
Yeah, he's
a big businessman.
He's a lawyer, corporate lawyer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Into business mergers,
liar.
and things like that,
Yeah.
And they're like, he's like, I'm not a pirate, I'm a lawyer. And then Rufio's like, kill the lawyer. And he's like, I'm not that kind of lawyer.
Dude, and the other thing about that movie is, and when he fights Rufio and he proves that he's Peter Pan because the kids don't believe him because he's older.
Mm-hmm. When he finally
How
remembers what his
good of
happy
an
thought
actor,
was.
exactly.
Yeah.
How good of an actor is Robin Williams that he could display those emotions you're supposed to feel
I'm
while
Peter
you're watching
Pan.
it.
I've got it now. I'm Peter Pan, though. Don't test me.
The acting from him going to an incompetent businessman to
Too
like I am
confident
fucking Peter Pan.
Peter Pan, test this motherfucker.
That man was a legend.
Dude, I love.
Do you remember Jack?
Let's have a rum sip.
Let's have a rum sip. You guys want to have a sip with us? We're gonna kick it.
For Robin Williams, I think he deserves it. Okay, I think he deserves this moment of silence for everyone out there.
Let me tell you something. That fucking movie alone. Hook? Are you fucking kidding me? Hook was the bomb.
Greatest movie. I
It
loved
was
it.
so epic. It was fantasy.
It was fantasy. It was fun. It was adventure. It was comedy.
Nobody
it was
could have
drama.
done that
It
other
was
than Robin Williams.
everything. Yeah, no one could have pulled that
Nobody
off.
could have done that.
No one could have pulled that off but him, and it was great.
And it was the like I mentioned, the movie Jack.
Mm-hmm.
That man's emotion. He was such a good actor. He could bleed his depression
Can
out.
Jack come out to play?
Yeah.
Hey! I love that shit.
I love. For some reason, I have a fond memory. That's kind of weird. A fond memory. I wouldn't say it's a fond memory.
Did a baby deer enter your
doe
life at some
memory.
point?
It's a buck memory.
It was the Bambi thing.
I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
Bambi turned out to be the king of the forest. So
I remember as a kid,
Suck my dick.
even as a kid, I felt the sexual tension between Jack when
Bambi. Oh, okay.
You went Joe Exotic on me for a second.
Are you telling me you can feel his love?
I love these tigers, and the tigers seem to love me back, and I don't know why that's your business.
Well, why don't you just give them a scoop of this every once in a while? Okay, they just need vitamins. Fuck. The only one who can do anything.
Ladies and
Fucking
gentlemen, I am
around.
so sorry. Joe Exotic has become a thing on this show. It is what it is.
It's big right now, and it's on all our minds. And
Joe, I don't care.
Carol
if you're
Baskins
tired.
did it. Okay, suck my dick. Carol Baskins did it.
You've got to see. Here's my point, and I know we're getting off subject because we're talking about Hook and Robin
yeah, I
Williams.
never even told you. It was one of the Peter Pan stories, like prior to Hook in that movie. In the original story, there's a part early on into it where Peter Pan outsmarts Hook as per usual, cuts off his hand and feeds it to the crocodile.
And that's how he has a
And
hook.
the crocodile gets a taste.
It's like a prequel.
That's how he gets the hook. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
What?
Or is it a cartoon?
Do we blow your mind? No, the original story of Peter Pan. That's always been, that was written by
Oh, I knew that.
H.M. Barry and whatnot. And then even in the early Peter Pan cartoons, the early 90s, remember that shit? It was like a serious cartoon. But he wore mostly brown. Peter Pan wore mostly brown. They were green accents, but they made it cool. And it was all those old stories of, before he flew to the window. And
it was almost like a grim tale. It wasn't as
Really?
grim as most of them, but it was sort of like a dark.
If you notice Peter Pan, it's always a grim tale.
It's a dark
That
tale.
entails lovely, spectacular things. Like,
Since
crazy.
we're jumping back to like
Since
2
we're-
minutes into the
we're
conversation,
exploring that.
the movie Jack, the only
Yep.
the memory not the goddamn fond memory. The only
The
memory I have of that
Get
memory.
Bambi out of here.
The only memory I have of that movie is him in this in the playground in that little tunnel, and he's eating the gummy bears, and the teacher comes up. I'll take a gummy bear. Do you remember that? As a kid, I felt that sexual tension. She was
Yep.
like, "Oh, you're a grown man out here." She didn't think, "Oh, this is weird." She was like, "Hi, I got pussy. You got dick.
I'm hearing fucking Elton John. Can you feel?
I don't
the
care.
love
I don't care if you're
tonight?
the R word. I love you."
I love you.
She just instantly fell for him. Like, I'll take the red gummy bears.
Thanks for collecting me some
The
throughout
most.
your days.
They're the color of the heart. I
They're
will
my,
take
they're my
them.
favorite flavor.
Cherry.
That's Jennifer Lopez.
Was it?
I think it was, wasn't it?
No.
No, am I
That
wrong?
was
I'm probably
not
wrong.
J-Lo from the
It
block.
was Jennifer Lopez. She
Jennifer-
sells tacos and burritos.
It was not Jenny from the block.
Okay,
I remember
alright.
that. It was.
Well-
it was an actress that's well known, but it's.
You're
not,
right.
It's not her.
Are you fucking sure? I'm looking at
Google it.
I'm googling.
We're gonna
it
go
right
ahead
now.
and Google it.
This
that's
next
the only-
presentation is brought to you in part by
As
Google.
as a kid, I felt that sexual tension. That's so weird. That instantly in that script, she's just like, "Oh hi,
Oh hi.
this isn't weird at all."
I want this red gummy bears on my
He was graying. He was
Mm.
graying at that point.
cheese pickle. This is what happens when you insert rum in your hole.
It's gonna be a fun episode. We got a lot of stuff we got to get off our chest.
Oh yeah.
This was just a little bit.
We
of
got a
that.
lot of pent up COVID stay-at-homeness thing going on.
This is my point, and this is where I was getting with the Joe Exotic. I know a lot of people are so sick of Joe already. The problem is that when the government
naysayers
and the media is pushing this disease, virus, everybody's dying shit on you all day. Joe
we got
Exotic.
tigers to look at.
Joe Exotic was a fucking light at the end of the tunnel. He was the savior of this COVID. You have to understand that. People needed to laugh, and they laughed. That's how
it.
That's how great that documentary was.
Tiger, and the tiger saw man.
You have to understand something. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, that's dumb." A lot of people are over it. The problem is it's too fucking entertaining to drop. It's too entertaining to stop talking about, and that's why everybody's talking about it. Everybody needed to laugh. We got to laugh.
Oh, fuck you, dude. Guess what? Guess who played Miss Marquez?
Are you serious? It's
in
J-Lo?
Jack?
It's J-Lo.
Jennifer Lopez, motherfucker.
No
look at it, dude. Look at
shit.
it. Oh,
Who else is in it?
do I know my Fran Drescher? Fran, how long?
I know
Remember-
Fran.
remember
I know
Fran Dresser?
Fran. Yeah, I remember Fran. She was in a lot of shit.
Mr. Steffield.
Jay, I cannot believe you called that out like that.
Dude.
I know she was kind of hot. I was like,
I've
oh,
seen
she
that
had
movie, dude, in like a decade.
And that's exactly why I felt the sexual tension, because it was J-Lo herself.
Jennifer Lopez. It's like, oh, Jennifer Lopez, you like my red?
You got to understand,
My
when
red
that
gummy bears?
when that movie was made, she was still fresh Jenny from the block.
Buenas noches,
She
señorita.
She came in with that fucking Latino heat.
Oh, yeah.
Latino heat. Latina heat.
She always
My
looks
bad.
like she's sweating, and I love it. Okay, I don't want to go off into one of those.
You don't
dark-
want to call it Latino heat because Latino heat's men. If we call it
Oh.
Latina.
Latina.
She's a Latina.
Latina.
She's not a Latino.
We are so white, dude.
I'm so.
We are
I'm
so
starting to think
white,
it's
dude.
gay if I keep leaning towards Latino.
It is not gay to like Jennifer Lopez. It is.
I can't believe you called that out.
Dude, I totally did. I totally
So
did.
she did a really good job in that movie then.
And I
'cause
stuck to my wits.
I forgot it was even her, and that's a
Oh,
good.
dude, she's a great actor. She's
know-
a wonderful actor.
you know
I've
what?
always thought so.
You
Call
know-
me out. You can call me. 417-430-4944.
4444.
Call us now. You call, we'll talk. No
Call
big
Nick
deal.
DiPaolo at 444-4444, and we're going to have a
That's right.
conversation.
444. My phone number is 417-430-4995.
Holy
Okay, call me up.
Shit.
I'm not scared. Don't be scared.
Is that your real number?
It is.
It's your real number you
This
just gave out.
this is what happens when you insert
Ladies
rum
and gentlemen, Lau
in your
just
home.
gave out his number if you
It's
want to
okay.
text him.
I'm here to talk to you.
Don't call him,
okay?
text him. Calling's rude.
Yeah, text me first.
All these old people that are fucking scared to text piss me off.
Text me and then.
Do you know
and
how
then I'll
easy
be
it is
like,
to text people compared
Call
to
me.
calling them?
Yeah, it's true.
The older generation always argues, Why don't you just call? It's easier. Just hit the
call
call
me.
button and call
Just
me
call me on the phone
so I can hear your voice. I'm like,
Yeah,
bitch,
so I can see how you're feeling. I'm building a wall, beautiful wall.
I'll send an email
An email.
and you'll get it the same as you would get my voice, motherfucker.
That's right, dude.
Don't act like it's easier to call. I can type just as fast as I can hit that call button, bitch.
Don't be such a fucking headbone.
I was born in 92. I ain't scared of you.
Leave a message at the tone.
Wow, wow.
Ooh. Because today, I don't feel like doing anything. Give me a call. I'm Linda Richmond. This is Coffee Talk. You call, we'll talk. No big deal.
We blew over. Okay.
We don't say that while we're recording. We blew. We're not. We didn't blow anything.
We took a break to blow each other.
And it was nice. Okay, it was a lovely. No, dude, we don't blow each other. Let's not put that out.
We blew over the fact that I was about to talk about my new favorite. I was about to talk about my new favorite radio host. Okay. I showed you a couple of things. You watched a few seconds. Whatever. You're gonna see more. Red Bar Radio.
Red Bar.
Let's talk Red Bar Radio.
I like the guy. By what you showed me, like it is nice to have kind of like that breath of air, where he's kind of putting some people in check. But you were right when you said, it was a little like, yeah, they're comics. They're gonna say fucked up shit and whatnot.
He tried to call a lot of them out for See, the problem is, I'm actually a fan of newer stand-up. Like, I think some of those guys are actually really funny. And my favorite stand-up comedy, my favorite stand-up comedian of all time right now that is still living, Bobby fucking Lee.
Bobby Lee.
Bobby
I like
motherfucking
Bobby Lee,
Lee. The Korean killer, motherfucker.
I'm really liking some Burt Kreischer when he's not just talking
Burt
about his kids for
Kreischer's-
hours.
Burt
Which I
Kreischer's
love his kids.
funny.
He's got cute little kids. I love the jokes.
Bill
they make me
Burr.
laugh. But
Bill
I like
Burr
the-
is my spirit animal. He's my spirit human.
Bill Burr, and he yells.
Mm-hmm.
He yells.
Bill Burr's my spirit animal, but Bobby Lee is the Slep King. Bobby Lee.
King.
Bobby Lee is the Korean killer.
Oh, it's
Theo Von's funny.
It just got spicy up in this motherfucker.
Theo Von's funny. Bobby Lee murders.
Theo Von is funny, dude. I love his
Theo
style.
Von's funny.
I
Bobby
love how
Lee is a legend.
It's true. It's true.
Let's talk before we go into Red Bar. I know we just entered Red Bar. Let's keep Red Bar in mind. We'll get back to that. I want to get to Mike Red Bar, I think is his name. That's his made-up name, Mike Red Bar. It's Mike something, okay, or David something. But he has a really good radio show. We'll get back to that because I want to talk to you about. You like a lot of stand-up comedians. I like a lot of stand-up comedians. The other night, because of this COVID-19 shit, they had a laugh aid. Did you, by chance, get to see that?
A laugh aid.
It was live for like 8
No.
hours. 6 hours, I think. 6 to 8 hours, I think it was
started
live.
watching this one where it was like all the country singers singing. I watched a few of the songs, but then I'm like,
You watched a country benefit?
It was like it was a few days ago. It was the only thing that was on television.
Let me tell you something. If you want a good, entertaining 6 hours, I don't suggest that you watch all 6 hours, but you can pop into every. There were a few different hosts.
Disney Plus and Pornhub. That's a great 6 hours. Did I just say that out loud?
Disney Plus and Pornhub combined.
Watch the little Disney movies. get a little attention.
Joe Exotic probably played Jungle Book while he was fucking his husband.
Like, can you just imagine, like, what it would be like Joe Exotic walked in and was like, is that Mickey Mouse? Are you got your dick in your hand?
Travis. Anybody knows anything about Travis? He had a beautiful set of balls.
That's right, he did. You come in the room, put him down. Put him down. I'll drop yours if you drop mine.
Listen.
I got that.
Give me 1 minute to explain this to you, okay?
Oh, about
the Laugh Aid.
Oh.
It was called Comedy Gives Back.
Take it away. I'm gonna take it away.
And it was, now listen, you're going to love this, okay? This is beautiful.
I've been back too much.
Comedians, the reason this relates to Red Bar is Red Bar basically is a guy who he comes off to me as like an ex-comedian, and he used to do some comedy. He's obviously a little funny. He has his own show. You can look up clips. Go to Red Bar, and then it's like Red Bar X Scars something. Fuck, I forgot
X
it.
Scars something.
Scars Club.
Red Bar Scars Club. Yeah, X Scars Club.
And it's this guy who trashes your favorite comedians, but he does it in such a way that you want to hate this man. But he makes such a good
you
fucking
can't because
point.
it's like, if he's, somebody else would have pointed this out anyway. Like, why?
He's so against the grain that it's a fresh breath.
And he was right at some point. You were telling me about how, some lady was about how hi, I'm Lau. About how this one comedian or stand-up actor or whatever,
Brad Williams.
Yeah, Brad Williams.
He's a short person comedian.
And he was, I guess, on tour with Carlos Mencia. You were saying
he was on the show Getting Doug with High, and it's a show that Doug Benson does. A stand-up comedian. He's a stoner, famous stoner. They get high and they talk. It's a podcast. It's a show, And Brad Williams, the little, I'm gonna say a word that's probably not PC, but I don't care. Okay, he's a midget.
He is a little person.
He's fine with that. He's a comedian. He can take it. He's got tough skin. And
he uses it. He jokes about it.
This is another reason why I like Mike Redbar, is what I call him. Mike Redbar, David Redbar, whatever you want to call him. This man points out not only flaws that need to be pointed out, but he makes so much sense it scares the fuck out of me. He calls everybody out, from Joe Rogan, Joey Diaz. You got killers he's calling out. The only person he's given respect, I've seen a lot of his clips on YouTube, the only person he's given respect is Bobby Lee, and that's where the Laugh Aid comes in. Okay? I was on YouTube the night that the Laugh Aid was going on. It was live. It was a 6-hour event, and it was for COVID-19. It was because there's a lot of stand-up comedians that make their living on the road, and that's how they make their money. Now they can't do that, and they're not like, Whitney Cummings, who was a host, Bob Saget, Howie Mandel, Patton Oswalt. They had these hosts for every hour. There was a new host. And they would basically Skype with comedians, and they would have like 15 minutes to do something, and they were raising money the whole time. That motherfucker from hour one was a disaster.
Oh, shit.
But they're comedians, right? And this is where Red Bar comes into play. Red Bar points out that these comedians are supposed to have tough skin. He's like, aren't comedians supposed to be these bad motherfuckers you can't talk shit to because they'll talk shit right back and own you? And that's why I like Mike Redbar, because the Laugh Aid exposed a lot of comedians for not being that funny.
Right.
And that's terrifying.
I think when, you're watching a stand-up comedian or whatever, I think that, laughing at it when it's all relative to that situation. It doesn't matter what one person thinks about it. It's about how you think about it.
Here's where Bobby Lee comes in. Okay, you said you like Bert Kreischer. I like Bert Kreischer. I think he's funny. I like the guy. Whitney Cummings hosted the third hour. It was Howie Mandel, which was a disaster. Howie Mandel's an old man who can't work a computer.
I wish fucking
he needed help.
Mitch Hedberger's still alive.
I know. There's a lot of comedians that need to still be alive that would kill.
Dude.
The problem is these new comedians got exposed the other night, a lot of them. Some of them held their own because they're real fucking comedians.
Right.
These other guys kind of got caught with their pants down.
Chaser. We need chaser.
Are we at a Red Bull?
Yeah, that Red Bull. You took it all.
There's no chaser, dude. We're going to have to shoot it. Shoot it.
All right, shot time. All right. I can't continue without one. Did you bring the shot glass?
I did not.
You failed us.
Raw dog it. Listen.
Fine.
The Live Aid was a disaster. Okay, and anybody who watched it could get a kick out of it.
All right, you first, motherfucker.
I watched.
Oh, he took it like a man. Oh, wow. Hold on, let me show.
I watched.
I'm gonna pour a little bit more in mine so you can see how a real man does it. Okay. Watch closely. Okay. If I throw up a little, that's not my fault. I had some.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're having some Bacardi.
I had some Cocoa Puffs.
We're having some Bacardi tonight.
Bacardi and Cocoa Puffs, motherfucker.
That'd be a gross combination.
No, it's some No, it's some badass. You grilled some badass shit.
I'd do Budweiser and Cheerios before
Budweiser
I do
and
Bacardi
Cheerios.
and
I'll
Cocoa
put
Puffs.
Budweiser in my Cheerios, and then I'll try it with Blue Moon.
Breakfast for champions.
That's right. What'd you eat for breakfast, Kyle? Blue Moon.
Shoot it.
Blue.
Shoot it.
Here we go.
Here he goes. Lau. Boom. Give me some. Give me some of that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just like
We just bumped mics and dicks.
Oh, no, we didn't.
Check this out. Check this. Yeah, you're going to need to light a cigarette,
Dicks,
buddy.
dude? Did you say dicks?
Not at all.
We didn't bump nothing except fists.
With this comedy aid. Okay, it was to raise money for
I smell the color purple.
Lau's having a enjoyment session with this Bacardi. It's nice to have a little rum. Anyway,
Tell the guy to go get vodka. He comes out with fucking Bacardi, dude.
it was a liquor night.
I know.
Fuck it.
You get in the truck. You're like, that guy never IDs me.
This I
Anyway,
need
sorry.
you. I need you personally, okay, to watch the Laugh Aid. You don't have to watch all of it.
I'll watch it.
You can
I
peek
swear.
into bits and pieces of every hour.
Every
I
hour
didn't watch
on the
past
hour.
Whitney Cummings because I was there for the Slep King.
Right.
This is my point about Bobby Lee, okay? Now, Mike Redbar, the only comedian he's ever given respect to out of all the clips I've ever seen, was Bobby Lee. He gave respect to Bobby Lee. He made the comment that Bobby
Really,
Lee.
Bobby Lee.
He said Bobby Lee's a legend and he's a real comedian. And he's referring to the Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee podcast, Bad Friends. They just put out the podcast, Bad Friends.
Yeah.
And Andrew Santino's getting exposed. And he's got a couple of videos on Andrew Santino. But he doesn't touch on Bobby Lee because he said, not verbatim, but he made it very clear Bobby Lee's a real comedian. Andrew Santino's not. And it really hit home for me. I wanted to know more. That's why I like Mike Redbar. And this comedy Laugh Aid kind of confirmed what he had said about some of these comedians are not real. And it was so odd that I found his videos and watched that Live Aid.
Right.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. I love Joey Diaz. I love Tom Segura. I love all these comedians. I think they're funny as fuck. Bert Kreischer. You got to see the other night who's funny and who's not.
Right.
Who's ready. Who's hungry.
Who's going to get it?
I was on...
Like the tiger.
The live stream was streaming on YouTube. All Things Comedy YouTube channel. Comedy Gives Back YouTube channel. It was on comedygivesback.com.
Mm-hmm.
It was streaming in a few different places. I was in a room with 8,000 people, a chat room, a live chat for the Comedy Aid on YouTube. Since from the first second of that video to about the fourth hour, it's Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee. Put Bobby Lee on. Tiger Belly. Slep Kingdom. Bobby Lee.
Oh.
Every fucking body was for Bobby Lee.
There we go.
So Howie Mandel is on with some couple people. There were some good people and there were some bad people in there every hour.
Mm-hmm.
It went Howie Mandel, Bob Saget, and then Whitney Cummings.
Oh.
Whitney
Bob
Cummings.
Saget.
But I wanted Bob Saget to be funnier.
I love
I was
Bob
upset
Saget.
that he was boring.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you are a comedian and you're sitting here not cracking jokes. You're just talking to comedians like we're hanging out.
Right.
You're not hanging out. You're trying to raise money, motherfucker.
Right. It's like, bro.
This is why I like Bobby Lee. Because the real comedians had something planned. He had skits. He had little things he wanted to do with Kalila. They, of course, have the podcast Tiger Belly. Very popular. Bobby Lee proved he was a real comedian the other night. And the people are for Bobby Lee.
What did he do? Tell us what he did.
The first hour was Howie Mandel. He can't work the computer. It's a disaster. he's saying hello. It's like his picture and then somebody else's, another comedian they're trying to get involved with. It was a disaster. It crashed. Whitney Cummings, by the time Whitney Cummings come on, it went Howie Mandel. He had some fuck ups. He passed it on to Bob Saget. Bob Saget had some sketch. I think he had Dave Attell and Jeff Ross. So he had some good talent. You know what I mean? Those guys went on and they were funny. And you could see in the live chat when the funny guys were on, because they were like, finally some comedy. Like, this is so boring. What the fuck are you guys doing? And it was like, wow. These comedies are getting, these comedians are getting slammed. Live time. I'm watching it in real time. So I'm watching it. Bob Saget has his little fuck ups, but it's, whatever. You get past it. Whitney Cummings comes on. The first few minutes she's on, she says, this has been a disaster. And the comedians that have agreed to do this will be lucky if they have careers after this, because this was such a train wreck.
Damn.
It was working.
She's like,
it was
I'm
so
just going to lay it down because we're all thinking it.
They were not. Nobody was prepared. It was boring.
Damn.
The live chat but when Whitney Cummings came on, Bert Kreischer himself got into the chat. And I could be one of those people that are falling for it and thinking, oh, Bert Kreischer was in the chat, but it was planned and it was somebody else. I want to think it was Bert Kreischer because I witnessed him on his phone, and then it would pop up as Bert Kreischer with a check mark, and he was in the chat. And I swear to God it was him, because she pops on, she says, this is a disaster. She admits, she's like, this is goofy. Why are we doing this? She's one of the real comedians. She's sitting back like, this is a joke. She's a comedian.
Right.
So she's like seeing the realism of it. She's like, this is lame as fuck. What are we doing? Okay. And then everybody's going crazy. Bobby Lee, where the fuck is Bobby Lee? When Bob Saget popped up to host the show, people were like, every comment was like, wrong Bob. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, every now and then they would, like I said, Dave Attell, Jeff Ross. Whitney Cummings comes on, admits it's a train wreck. And Bert Kreischer's bit throughout the live comedy aid was he was outside of Whitney Cummings' house. He lives probably 6 minutes from her. So he was like, I live close to her. He's already talked about it on his podcast and shit with Bill Burr. But he said, I just wanted to, I think what he thought is he could help her out with the nerve-wrackingness of live, because live is awkward.
Yeah.
Because she had it was such a train wreck. She talked to Craig Robinson, and he's a funny guy, but he tried to sing her a song, and she was like, you're all blurry and staticky. I didn't even hear the song, whatever. She kind of blew him off and rushed him off the screen. Very awkward. I swear to God, this whole comedy aid was so revealing of who's funny and who's not.
Right.
My point is, Whitney Cummings is sitting there, and her bit and Bert Kreischer's bit was Bert Kreischer's outside of her house, and she's like, oh, you can tell they've planned a little bit.
Right.
The good comedians planned a skit, and the bad comedians just talked like they were hanging out. And that was the problem was, oh, I remember we hung out at the comedy club, and everybody's like, nobody gives a fuck, Howie Mandel. Make me laugh. That's how the goddamn audience was in the live chat. Make me laugh, motherfucker.
Amazing.
This ain't funny. This is supposed to be comedy gives back, not comedy depresses the fuck out of me.
So Bert was doing his thing. What did Bobby do?
This is what I'm getting to. It built up for me. You've got to understand, I'm a Bobby Lee fan, so it built up for me. And Bert Kreischer's outside of the window. He's banging on the window of Whitney Cummings. She's like, I have Bert Kreischer outside my house. What the fuck? You can tell it's kind of planned. Mm-hmm. He's in the chat, and he sees everybody saying, Bobby Lee, Bobby Lee. She's talking to the camera. She talks to Drew Carey. She talks to a couple of people. She goes off to a video of not Don Rickles.
Don Rickles.
Is it John Cleese?
John Cleese, yeah.
He's a legend. Yeah. He did
Nearly headless Nick.
Mm-hmm. He did an Epstein joke, and she laughed. She was like, that was wonderful. That was legendary. That was real comedy. She acknowledged it. She was like, I have to respect that because that was funny.
Yeah.
And she acknowledged who was shit and who wasn't.
Right.
And Bert Kreischer's outside of the window when she's talking to the camera, and he's like, put Bobby Lee on.
Put Bobby Lee on.
And I started laughing because I was like, he's really in the fucking chat. Like, I didn't think it was him. He's really seeing that shit. He's like, put Bobby Lee on. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It cuts to something.
Right.
And then when it cuts back, she's got Bobby Lee on her phone on Skype. And and the chat's like, Oh, and because All Things Comedy, whoever runs their YouTube channel
Right.
was watching, they were like, "Here's your hero," and Bobby Lee's on the screen smiling, just like, "What's up, guys?"
What's up?
You know,
I'm here.
he's like, he doesn't even know what's going on, and she's like, "I can't talk to you right now. I've got to enter." They had a schedule. That was the problem. Was everybody was like, "Bobby Lee, Bobby Lee." He wasn't supposed to go on until a little bit later. They had to put him on early because the chat was going nuts. They were like, Bobby Lee, and she put him on Skype, and she's like, "I can't talk to you right now. I have other people I have to." And he's like, "Why? I want to talk to you." Like he was being Bobby Lee,
Yeah.
and so she's like, "I'm hanging up on this guy, whatever, just to get him on the screen for a minute to please the audience,
Right.
Like he's coming, just chill, like." And Bobby Lee's just doing him, and she's like, "I'm hanging up on this guy," and he's like, "Bye." You hear him say "bye" on the phone. And she clicks it.
That's
She's like,
awesome.
"Whatever." She introduces the next people. And then Bert Kreischer, it cuts to Bert Kreischer at the computer. And he's got gloves on. And he's like, "I've got gloves on, so we're safe." He's like, I'm pretty sure we've got Bobby Lee next. And he put Bobby Lee on. And she was outside of her house. Like, that was the bit. Was they switched places, and he took over and put Bobby Lee on.
There we go. That's hilarious.
They were smart about it. That's why I like Whitney Cummings and Bert Kreischer, because they recognized it. Because Whitney Cummings called it out. She was like, "This is damaging to my career." She's a comedian. She was like, "This is lame."
He fixed it.
Bert Kreischer is a real comedian. He came in and he's like, "Let's put Bobby Lee on.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want."
You want the solution? It's Bobby Lee. Put him on Tiger Belly.
This wasn't even lit. I just flicked a cigarette that's
Good
not
job.
lit.
Good job.
Talk about
that's
some
another shot.
Bacardi.
Let's take another shot now.
Let's take another shot.
You just bought yourself another shot.
Anyway, my point being is I was so happy.
I just put my cigarette out of my cup.
That's gross. You have to drink that now.
Fuck it then. The ash will kill the COVID.
You smoke. It's not like it's any worse.
That's true.
But my
Hold your cup up. We're
my point
not
is
gonna do
my
this.
point is, man, Bobby Lee is like, I used to watch Mad TV as a kid. I grew up with Bobby Lee. Let's take a cheers to Bobby Lee real quick.
Cheers,
Bobby
cheers
Lee.
Bobby Lee. Tiger Belly. Bye. I poured too much.
That's stout.
Mistakes were made.
We're on the. I like how we sound like a bunch of little like lame ass vanilla bitches. Like,
I blame myself.
there were mistakes made, and we took the shot, and we took a shot to the head.
I now regret my decision.
And now pronounce you man and vodka.
Do you know what Milton is from Milton's Milk Chocolate Factory? Have you tried one?
Lau, you've got to understand. I'm
What?
trying to get deep with you.
I just
right now.
we just took it in. Bert Kreischer saved it with
Wow.
Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee was his instrument, his sword.
Bobby, I can't. I sound like a crazy person when I try to explain
You
Bobby
do
Lee's
tone
comedy.
it down. I'm
Let me tell you why I like Bobby Lee.
okay.
Okay,
I'm ready.
Bobby Lee is a legend
I gotta finish this.
because the man has not done a comedy special.
Oh, it's like asshole.
It's definitely rum. It's definitely rum.
No, he hasn't, and that's funny that you say that, because as soon as you said that, I'm cycling through my input storage. It's not in there. He's never done a.
He's one of those
special.
comics
Why-
where it's like,
why
if
is
you
that?
if you want to see me, you got to see me on the road.
He's like, you do what I want you to.
His brother Stevie Weeby.
Oh,
Stevie Weeby just had a
Weeby.
chick from Springfield, Missouri that used to work at the skate park when we used to skate there.
she's working at the skate park.
She was on Stevie Weeby,
Oh,
and I think she's a model.
that's cool. Shout out to Missouri and its models and talent.
Yeah, Missouri's got something going on other than
Hi.
bullshit.
We're here. Hi. Call us 417-430.
We're not all hicks. We're just kind of
4995.
weird.
Yeah, we're just kind of stuck in the middle here. Like,
How
we're,
weird. I had
we're
a
in the middle of America, and we're just washing both sides. Like, oh man, like COVID coming in on all fronts. Like,
I got fucking Al Roker of the COVID-19.
that's a rum burp, ladies and gentlemen.
My neighbors stopped me today and wanted to say hi, and I
What-
understood that I'm no longer young and social. I'm like, I keep my head down. I told them that. I was like, yeah, we keep our head down. I'm like, I know. Is that weird? Is that antisocial?
Maybe a little.
This social distancing has hurt people. I've watched it today.
It's like we keep our heads down.
Today,
we don't touch people or.
I was driving home from work. This guy rolled his window down and he said, "Hey," he was smoking a blunt. He said, "Hey man, where's your mask?" I laughed. I said, "I don't got one." And he's like, "I'm bored, man." I was like, "I can tell." And I drove off because the light turned green. And I was like, "Damn, dude, this dude really was bored." Like, and then I got home and my neighbors were like, "Hey, neighbor." I was like, "This is."
You had an experience.
I expect the worst out of people for some reason. So
and then sometimes you find that like he doesn't mean any malicious. This motherfucker just wants to talk to somebody.
I've seen enough shit to where I don't talk to people. I'm not social, and that's terrifying.
A little bit. At least you've always talked to me.
I talk to who I want to talk to.
Yeah.
My neighbors stopped me and they were like, "Hey man,
trust me, fucker can talk."
And this was in the same day. So I was thinking, I was like, wow, man, I'm witnessing firsthand what this COVID-19 has done to people.
Yeah. How it's changing people's
Not only is it a horrible thing, if you look at the brighter side, people are starting to say, "Hey buddy,
there's a COVID
neighbor
silver lining." Hi, well, howdy,
literally,
neighbor. Howdy, neighbor.
Hey neighbor.
You know, I never brought back those shears.
We've faced death, and we looked at each other and thought differently. We were like, "Oh, we mean something. Yeah. Like we're worth something."
It's the same old story, you know, the whole Counting Crows song. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Right.
You know, and then we're all like, "Oh fuck, these people that I've lived beside for 13 years. Maybe I should say hi to them before we're wiped off the face of the fucking earth."
They brought that up because they were like, "I've lived here a year and I don't even know your name." And so I introduced myself. I was like, "We're not serial." I made jokes with them. I'm comfortable in my own skin, so I'm like, we're not serial killers. We keep our head down. That's what I said. We keep our head down. We mind our own. And they offered me a beer. I felt bad I didn't go over there.
Right.
But I'm not a social guy, and it made me think that COVID-19 has made people so isolated.
Yeah.
So isolated that we've faced death
COVID,
and we're looking at each other.
It allowed us to realize that even before COVID, now we're, it's the whole stay-at-home thing, and people have been isolated from one another. You've been in, it's a little bit different right now. It made people realize, holy shit, we've been more isolated than this. Now we're finally using the internet to fucking talk to each other and see how each other are, instead of just reading each other's lives and shit like that. There's always been a social distancing. There's been a social distancing for a long time.
Did you hit the nail right on the fucking head?
Live their lives on the internet, and now people will realize, holy shit, like, talking to your neighbor is
when you get a human interaction with somebody who's a decent dude.
Human interaction.
Decent
people
person.
Finally have had to stay at home and go without it. You can't even run,
you've been forced
comment
to
on a stranger now. You don't have that. You're not passing anybody. There are no passersby.
So when
you miss people,
when you walk by people now, you think differently.
You're a person and you miss people.
You go through shit too, don't you? And we're all looking at each other.
You're
now.
struggling too.
You know what it was? And I realized this today
common ground.
It was common fucking ground
for everyone.
That's insane how you just read my mind.
Boom.
We found common ground.
We did.
We could die from this. We need to appreciate each other a little bit more.
Hey, how you doing? Seen you 1,000 times. How you doing? Good to know you're there.
I don't mean to get
We're
deep.
Struggling too. At least we talk to each other before the fucking world ends. The world's not going to end.
I don't mean to get deep, but how many school shootings is that going to prevent now that we've kind of learned a little bit of a lesson and we're taking a little bit of a curve
prevent a lot, considering the rest of school has been closed down for the rest of the year. I guarantee you there will be no school shooting.
I love the direction that went. I did not see that coming.
You are guaranteed a 0%. School's out across the board.
You were very literal with that. You're like, well, none, considering nobody's going to school the rest of the year.
Fucking nut bar. How about another shot? That deserves another shot.
I've still got a shot. I took half the shot.
Cheating pussy.
I've been drinking since
from now on. That's your fault.
Listen.
I'm listening.
Back to Bobby Lee.
And we should go back to Peter Pan. That was a fun topic. How about some smiles, motherfucker?
I'm not talking about Peter Pan.
Fine.
I was trying to explain to you.
Fine.
My love for Bobby Lee comes from he's like a unicorn.
He is.
He's a human
he's
unicorn.
He's like Smee.
He's like
In the
Shmee.
perfect place.
You
Shmee,
found
Shmee.
any opportunity you could to fit in Hook.
Dude, when I want to talk about something, I talk about it.
You squeezed Shmee in the middle of Bobby Lee.
Time, baby. Time.
Jesus fuck.
Studio.
God damn, the rum is
There's some
taking
Phil
hold.
Collins, man. Weren't we talking about that?
I do have to. I'll bounce off a subject for that.
You wanna do some Phil Collins?
Phil Collins is a legend.
Dude.
We came to the
all
realization
right
that
singer.
Phil Collins is real as fuck.
He's an all right singer. He can drum like a son of a
We're
bitch.
like Logan Paul discovering
Yeah.
Pink Floyd.
It's like,
Like,
this is not on the
this is
dark side
heavy.
of the moon. Like, no fucking way.
This is heavy.
No fucking.
It's so anti-establishment.
They have the poster painted on their little bottoms. The ladies lined up. I have the poster. Come over. Come look at it. Reminds me of fucking. Who we call him? Because we don't use actual names here to protect the innocent. Frank.
Is that a Law and Order?
You know who I'm talking about? Frank, who jumps out of trees asking for 10 pieces.
I know who you're talking
You know,
about.
I need
I
10
know
piece.
Frank.
Okay.
Listeners know Frank.
Yes. Good.
Listeners should know Frank by now. Frank's a bad guy.
Murphy.
That was a dead giveaway.
Only those who know will know.
It's an inside secret.
It's an inside secret. Find out. Or if you don't want to find out, remember 417-430-4995.
444-4444.
Call me and let me tell you some stories. Okay?
I personally talked to Joe Exotic. I think he's a good guy, but I think he molested one of the tigers.
Oh, it's always about molestation with you, okay? Can we have one time?
Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. I was just 2 hours
Oh,
ago. I was just 2 hours ago mentioned in a comment. So I've got to stop and read it.
By who? I almost dropped the rum.
You know what?
Ouch.
And Facebook. Okay, me just getting mentioned in a couple
What's
of
the
comments.
comment? No, you just took us on that adventure. Go get the comment.
No. Okay, it was nothing.
Oh,
it's literally
okay.
nothing.
It was nothing.
This dude I went to school with said, "What
Can I finish
band?"
that now?
Knowing what band.
Clinky. Carry on. Carry on.
What proof is that?
All of it.
All the proofs. It's every proof.
It's every single one, bro. Test it. Shit'll clean fucking magic marker off the wall. You know what I'm saying?
151 rum.
Caribou. Jimmy Jew getting lost in
Did
the
you
rum
just do
drum.
an Asian accent? Caribou.
Caribou. Getting lost in the mundrum.
We are bouncing all over the place, and I apologize.
Got my mind on my money and my money on my mind.
This is obviously not a regular episode.
This is the bullshit. We just doing this.
Listen,
It's a special night. It's a special. Tell the people.
Since we've been doing this podcast, since we started this podcast, if you listen, if you don't, I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
Because we don't do it for the views. We don't do it for the likes or
Doesn't
the listens. We do it because it's fun. And eventually we hope people understand that you can come have fun with us.
Right.
That's the whole point of this podcast. I don't give a shit if I ever get more than 5 likes, whatever. It doesn't fucking make a difference to me.
We're already doing what we want to do with it, man. We're having fun. If we get rich, we get rich. I don't see that happening.
Lau and I have been
But it's
friends.
fun.
That computer's rude as
Fuck this thing,
fuck.
man. I swear to God, every time it scares the shit out of me.
Lau and I have been friends since I was a wee little ass.
Since we were little boys.
And we are just chums who hang out. And I think, and I don't mean to get emotional, but this podcast has been a life-changing fucking experience for me.
It has.
And that's because
I have to agree.
I feel like, podcasts are overplayed right now.
They are.
You've got to understand that everybody's putting out a podcast. It's such an overload of bullshit and just comedians. Anybody can have a podcast. Lex Luthor from Smallville has a goddamn podcast.
Even that, but that's not even why we're doing it. It's just it's a platform where we can show our voices.
We always had conversations that were very interesting, and I thought it would be interesting when I started rapping. What if I had a podcast? Because I like Joe Rogan, And I honestly wanted to do a podcast. I got inspired. I saw Theo
Right.
Vaughn. I saw Chris D'Elia. I saw all these badass comedians doing cool podcasts. I was like, this is so interesting to listen to while I work.
Right.
Why not do it myself? I rant all the fucking time. Why not record it? And then when you get Lau and I in the same room, we have a chemistry.
It's always been that way. We'll talk and get going and going and going and going. Like
It is what it is. It's always been that
and
way, and I
we-
think it's the perfect. We just found an opportunity to record it. Really,
yeah. Why not just
you know,
throw it down
And the truth is, at this point in our podcast, I hope someday we can look back at this one and say, "Damn, we tried."
episode 19.
That'll be. It will
we
be like
fucking tried.
we quit at 20. We should have kept going.
We hit 20 and we quit.
Uh,
And 19 we talked about it.
you know,
Like-
we sometimes we're not on it. You know, sometimes we
But
skip some days. And
It's
all
been a turbulent year for both of us. I mean, you had a baby.
I love how-
broke my leg and ankle.
I was-
dude, we had a lot of going on.
and that's personal life. That's not to mention everybody's
Yeah,
going
that's
through shit
personal
right now.
life. And yeah, that's before any of this, hashtag stay at home and the virus and
Stay at home.
Oh, it's like that. Oh, it's home.
That's good shit. That's good shit. I like the way you said home.
Home. I've never been up north, but sometimes I kind of carry on in the linguistics.
In all seriousness, I've heard Santa lives up there.
Oh God, dude. Is that a crack at me, dude? Because I'm going I've been blonde all my life, and now I'm
And you've
going
got the
white.
beard. You got the beard. Yeah.
Now I got the white coming in. Got it coming in my hair, dude. Like I'm not gonna get
If you
gray hair. I'm gonna be white hair
If you were more generous,
and
like
fat.
if
I'd
you-
be Santa.
if you came with like a gift, like, oh dude, I got you this, and I was like, oh,
You
I put
jolly
Santa.
motherfucker.
I put the Santa together.
With the fuck you.
Oh,
I'll have a shot on Santa.
Okay, we'll
I'll
have
have a shot on Santa.
We'll have a shot.
Hey, dude, it could be worse.
Lau.
I could grow up and look like some crocodilian motherfucker. At least
Lau.
I'll look like Santa.
Lau pulled a cheap one and
Oh,
tried
did
to
I?
toast right after I took a shot.
Because we both agreed
I-
we were going to, and you
Okay,
forgot.
I accidentally faked
There
two
we
shots.
go.
I faked 2 shots.
He faked them earlier in this episode. Go ahead and give it an over listen again. I don't know.
It'll be in
It
the greatest
happened.
hits in 2023.
2023. Remember when fucking Lau was faked out,
You
and
remember,
then
you remember that episode?
and then he faked him one out, and then
for some reason, it's like all people from Staten Island.
and then
that
they hit
listen to
each
us.
other, and then something knocked the.
I want to
That
get.
was the end of
I
it.
want to get real serious right now, Lau. Okay.
All right. And then we're doing the shot.
We're gonna do a shot on 1, 2, 3, and basically, what I want everybody to do at home is do a shot with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
If you made it,
have a shot, take a hit.
if you want to take a shot, take a hit.
Marijuana. We don't condone anything else.
Sniff that coke. Shoot that
You got
heroin.
the booger sugar, do the booger sugar, but we're not trying to promote any hard drugs or anything like that.
Pop those opiates.
Reminds me, we should throw our sponsors in.
Oh yes. We are sponsored by Anchor Fence.
Anchor Fence Company.
Put
Come in
Put a picket in your ass.
anytime, any day, any link.
They honestly don't care. I've asked the CEO, can they put a picket in their ass? They
Mention
said,
our names.
if it is lubed properly, no splinters.
none. You
I've
have a
tested.
no
I've
splinter
tested.
guarantee.
And our second sponsor is OPMS Kratom.
OPMS Kratom.
Pick it up after COVID because COVID fucked everything.
Still available in almost every convenience store.
No, it's not.
Almost. In just the convenience store.
Let me tell you
can
something.
still get it.
Let me tell you something.
You can still. It's still there. It's still available.
Here's the deal. I realize I don't get a paycheck from OPMS.
Well, no.
I advertise to the 4 listeners
You know.
every time we do an episode.
We got to shout out to the people that believe in us.
Someday you'll find this. You'll find this little gem,
Okay.
and you'll look back and you'll
let's have
think,
it, and then let's have our shot.
God damn, And that's where the shot's leading. Is someday you're gonna look back at this episode and go, "Fuck, I should have.
Son of a bitch.
I wish I were there."
You had to done do it. To
Or
us.
you'll just be like, "Wow, that shit's stupid." Anyway, cheers.
Cheers, man. I'm gonna make sure you're not faking this time. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Now I'll do mine, which I have never faked, not once tonight.
You have
At
not.
you.
That's one thing Lau has
If
done.
it came to mutiny, I would be more trustworthy.
He's
in this
been the most
situation.
honest about the alcohol. We had a 5th of rum, and he banged it out.
Well, with help.
With help.
Me and you and your wife.
When you have that, god damn, we're getting old. Back in the
dude,
day,
we're not 15-year-old skaters anymore, man. What do you think was gonna happen?
Listen.
You don't happen to be a homosexual. You had sex with a girl. You had babies with her. You loved her. You married her. You stayed together. You're still together. You have a wife now.
Hey,
I've had a wife.
Let's expose my whole.
I've had a child too.
Let's expose my whole real life. Let's go through our lives. Right
Okay.
now.
Fuck it.
No. I'm kidding.
Aftershock life spell. Oh, you don't want to bring it into that? Next episode. Next episode.
I think Lau spiked my drink like Cosby.
just got the little light that says, we got to end this soon.
Hold for applause.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's episodes that make sense. Sometimes there's not.
Sorry tonight probably wasn't the best expression of one that makes sense.
Lau and I love each other in a very asexual way.
And always and forever will.
And we love you guys in an asexual way.
And always and forever will.
And again, YouTube, this content is not for children.
Right.
Stop asking me.
If you wrote down my number when I said it, you're a creep. But call me.
We've put a picture of a rhino taking a massive shit.
That's episode 9. Check it out.
El Nino.
El Nino. And while you're doing that, if you're already at 9, go ahead and check out probably what me and him, what Cotter and I both probably dub is one of our best episodes. The Ocho.
The Ocho.
Check out the Ocho.
The Ocho is a legend so far as podcasts we've done. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got to understand that we are doing something not a lot of people have the balls to do.
We're using our voices.
And
we're throwing them out there.
It's either very stupid and very arrogant, or it's genius.
Either
you be
way,
the judge.
Doesn't matter. We're doing it anyway.
You be the judge. If you want to listen, listen. If you don't. We love you either way.
We love you, but we're going to enjoy doing this either way.
If you get to the end of this, there's a little hidden gem, and it goes like this. Bye, guys. We'll see you later.
See ya. Tune in next time for Cotter and Lau.
We will be back.
CNL.
Love you guys.